let's just start. My name is Lesley Mbogo. I am a member of the Task Force on Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain in the Ministry of ICT. And once again, here is Michael Onyango, Honorable Michael Onyango, who is the former Minister of ICT in the great county of Kisumu. And then we also have John Gitao, who is a systems engineer at Cisco. He is also an advisor to the CS of ICT, and he's also a member of the AI and Blockchain Task Force. And then with us here, we also have Lawrence from Microsoft. So today we have a brilliant team, and they'll be talking to us about the technology industry experts, and they'll share with us their experiences and give us some ideas. So without much further ado, I'll get started. Now, we're discussing emerging technologies. Gitao, this is for you. Can you explain to the people here what is artificial intelligence and also blockchain?
Hello. Good. Thank you, Lesley. As I've been said, my name is John Gitao, currently working at Cisco, and I work a lot with the industry. I've been to Swahili Port a number of times over the last couple of years. Since inception, I have very good friends here. So back to technology. So as everybody has said, almost each and every part of our lives going forward will be touched by technology. Everything from physical security, everything from how we deal with our healthcare will all be touched by healthcare. As a task force, we chose to focus on these two items, distributed ledgers and AI. But obviously, from an emerging technologies perspective, we also have things like IoT, which you probably heard quite a bit of. We have big data and a few other things in the areas that we'll talk about quite a bit. When it comes to artificial intelligence, it's quite broad. But the key idea here is that technology will be used to make decisions for us in the end. Everything from driverless cars, in networking, which is my primary area, you hear a lot about software-defined networking. The idea here is technology will be used to augment or take care of most of our day-to-day decisions. If you look at other areas like blockchain is very interesting in that when you talk about this blockchain as an example of a distributed ledger, then it's technically a database or a ledger that allows a little bit more. It allows us, for instance, to have what you call immutability. It allows for more transparency. It's distributed in the sense that you can't delete that data. So there's quite a lot of benefits that people in various sectors are seeing, and you'll hear a lot about blockchain here. Okay.
All right. Next question goes to Michael. Earlier in the year, there was a task force that was created to explore these emerging technologies. Can you tell us a little bit more about the purpose of your task force, its relevance, and why should wananchi here care?
So, one of the things is that the CS, Joe Michel, who heads the ICT ministry, understands the value of what technology can do within an economy in many instances and circumstances. One of our biggest problems as a country, first and foremost, as you know, is jobs. A lot of you here are seeking and desire to have new jobs. Another thing is that within the government circles and within the government structure, there's a lot of concern with respect to transparency of services and wastage of financial resources. So the two technologies which are disruptive technologies that we're actually looking at as a task force, which is distributed ledgers, also commonly referred to as blockchain and artificial intelligence, were chosen particularly by the CS because of the next couple of years, the next 3 years or so to come, these are possibly already are the technologies that are disrupting our lives, but also at the same time, as a country, if you look at who we are and if you look at the resources that we have, if you look at the young people that are here, a lot of you are interested within doing things around technology. So the CS is very clear that he wants us as a country to be in the right direction and in the right space of the right technologies that are currently being the ones that are creating the most disruption. And disruption is not a bad thing. Disruption is a good thing. So the reason why he chose distributed ledgers and artificial intelligence is, first and foremost, if you look at probably the 4 biggest global corporations within the field of technology, and this is Facebook, Amazon, Netflix and Google, a lot of the technologies that they're using to run the things that they're doing revolve around these disruptive technologies. So as a country, one of the things that the CS Musheru is very, very clear about is that he doesn't want us, and especially I say us, I mean you people, especially you younger people, to be left behind as these new opportunities come about. And also, as a country, he wants us to be in control of our direction in terms of how we're using these technologies to improve our efficiencies and to also create new opportunities for ourselves within this field. So I've tried not to get technical so that I don't lose you, so that you understand exactly what it is and why it is that these are the 2 technologies that we're currently looking at and we're very, very and we're basically concentrating on. And then just to wrap up a bit on that, one of the key 4 areas that we're going to be, that we've actually looked at as a task force with respect to these technologies, is the President's big agenda. This is manufacturing, food security, universal health care, and housing. Yes, so those are the 4. Of course, without a doubt, as individuals, there's things that you can look at yourselves, but anybody looking at doing anything around government, those are the 4 areas which we have looked at to see how we can impact what it is that the President wants to achieve within the next 4 years.
And to follow on to that, Gitao, can you just briefly explain maybe how some of these technologies will be relevant in the big 4s, maybe pick 1 or 2 examples so that people here can relate?
Use them as collateral or whatever. In other areas like healthcare, blockchain and AI are playing a very big role. You don't need, if you own an Apple Watch or a phone today, you're probably going out running and keeping track of what you're doing in terms of health and other metrics. So there's a whole lot of things around health that we are looking at. If you think of other areas, if you think of manufacturing as an example, it actually cuts across each and every facet of manufacturing. Everything from how supply chain management is handled, a lot of it is being done today through blockchain technologies, to how financing some of these assets is being done. Again, all this is covered, and hopefully, I really urge you that when the report comes out, you have a look and you see all manner of examples. From a developer perspective, from an innovation perspective, all the solutions that are required will have to come. The solutions for Pwani, as an example, will have to come from Pwani. You're the ones who understand your temperatures, the ocean. I mean, you're next to it. Someone in Nairobi would come and create, I don't know, maritime solutions. I think they are easier done in a place like this. Okay.
Right, thank you. Lawrence, so many people worry that artificial intelligence will take away jobs, in the sense that AI allows computers to sort of do functions that emulate human beings and make those kinds of decisions. Now, do you think that this should be a concern for our young people here?
Should it be a concern? I'd say no, it shouldn't be a concern. In fact, if anything, it should be looked at as an opportunity. So we see the future being machines being able to do more, drive more impact, drive more results, enable us to handle really complex data sets. So now, the opportunity, I believe, is not in looking at this and saying, oh, we will lose jobs. I believe it's in looking at this and saying, where can I plug in? Because think about it this way. And I'll give a very small story. Back in the day, there used to be horses, right? And everybody rode a horse. And someone figured out, hey, you know what would be interesting? Imagine if we put petrol in a small container, set it on fire, and move parts with it. And he built an internal combustion engine. And what happened to the whole world? People started driving cars, and the horses slowly were phased away. And this opened a whole new set of opportunities. And so for the last few hundred years, or 100 years, give or take, we've been driving cars. And the same is also true for computers. We started with small, simple devices, but over time, they become more complex and they give us a whole new range of opportunities. So I would say this is actually a huge opportunity to learn, grow, and the powerful thing about technology like AI and blockchain is that it is so wide, there are very many places it plugs into. As John and Michael have mentioned, you can use AI in healthcare, you can use AI in legal, housing, pick any place that you already have as an existing vertical, and you can plug in technology into it. And so this is not a concern, it's a really big opportunity.
Okay. Now, Lawrence, I'll follow up with you. What are some of the ethical issues or maybe consumer protection issues that emerging technologies such as AI, even big data, what issues arise from these types of technologies?
A very good question. So, for those of us familiar with AI, AI is heavily dependent on data. So, I'll give you an example. You may be using or calling an Uber today, right? And when you put in your route, it automatically knows where you're going to go. You go on Facebook, it's able to recognize your face and tell you, hey, somebody took a photo of you, do you want to tag yourself? So what is happening in the background? What's happening is they're taking a lot of data and trying to make sense of it. So one of the key areas when it comes to artificial intelligence is how do we recognize and protect our data? How do we ensure that the data that companies like Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Uber, Netflix, etc., that information is protected and that information is being used for good purpose. So, what we do as large companies is we sit down and we formulate policy. And we say, hey, as a consumer, whenever you want to access any of our services, this is what we will be doing with your data. In fact, what is happening right now is more and more governments are setting up these policies. So in the EU, they have created laws that allow for organizations to only take certain amounts of data. And this is where the public-private partnership really kicks in. Because if you have the right policy, you can protect the citizens' data, you can ensure that the data is being used correctly and it's not being used for nefarious purposes. And the better part of this is, if a company steps across the line, action can be taken. And we are seeing this happening on the global stage.
Right. And actually, Michael, can you add a little bit on this, because you've been in government before. How do you see the role of the private sector and policy makers intersecting to address some of these issues and any additional issues that you see?
Great question, and I'm so excited what Governor Joe has said today. A lot of you who are sitting in this room are actually where you are because you do not demand for what you want. And you heard what Governor Joe said himself when he spoke about public participation. So even with respect to policies and with respect to what happens next, like I'll say, one of the things that you can practically complain about or practically say that you want more involvement is, you may say that these things are too amorphous, these things are too confusing for us. We do not understand what they mean in our lives, we don't understand how it affects us, we don't understand what to do with it. Can government come forward and ensure that as citizens of this country, we have a proper understanding of what these things are, what it means to us with respect to our jobs, what it means to us with respect to opportunities, what it means to us with respect to international corporations coming in and us using their services that we use on our phones or on our computers. So I want to try and ensure that as people who are in this room, you must know what to do next. When this panel disbands and we go away, the question you must ask is, so what do we do and how do we engage? One of the things that you have a right to demand is that, can we have a better explanation of what these things are? And so that when government is coming up with policy, you are clear about what those policies are and you understand what is being created for you. I am sure, without a doubt, that what I'm saying here, even in Europe, a lot of people don't understand what the new data protection laws are. They're very, very own citizens. But because the governments understand that the populations are shrinking, and because they know that they have to protect their interests and their business and their people, they have proactively gone ahead and done good for their people. So again, I want to try and bring it as close as possible to yourselves so that you know what it is that you must do going forward post the discussion that we're having here. I hope I was a bit clear with that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so I think I have one more question and then we'll go to closing comments because we're running out of time. But Gitao, this question is for you. How are today's farms in Kenya or in Africa in general, for example, fintech firms, how are they creating value from these emerging technologies?
Thank you, Lesley. Lucky for anyone in technology, over the last couple of years, there's a lot of interest, right from governments to the engagement we have here, investors, other larger fintechs. Of course, we have companies like the ones we work for, which I'm pretty sure most of them have a fund. Sure, Microsoft has a fund, Cisco definitely has a fund where we are looking at how to grow this ecosystem. But beyond that, I think what we also have is that we have interesting, unique problems that are uniquely Kenyan or that are uniquely Pwani. That if you understand technology, then it becomes easier to first of all formulate a technological solution. And then you have outlets in places like Swahili Port. You have access to a governor who is clearly very attuned to some of the issues. So in this regard, what we have, in my opinion now, is an ecosystem that's very supportive of technology, and I think we can take advantage of that as technology practitioners. Beyond that, beyond exposing yourself, beyond exposing your ideas, beyond trying to figure out what to do, I think the next thing we are working at very hard is to ensure that governments or people who can deal with these things are dealing with them. Okay? And there's a lot happening in that area.
All right.
Thank you.
So we'll just take a minute and I'll start with Lawrence. Just take a minute to tell the young people here, what advice would you give them when they're looking at this new technology? Some of them wonder, well, how do I even get started? What can I do? What would be your 1 minute advice to some of these young people here?
My advice in one word would be learn. Don't stop growing. Learn, learn, learn. The good thing is right now, with the power of the internet, all the information is out there. You have in your hands today, if you have pulled up a smartphone, you have in your hands a device more powerful than the computer that flew the first men to the moon. It is that powerful. You have in your hands today a device that can enable you to access all the information on the planet. And so my challenge would be grow, learn, challenge yourself. Find a spot where you can fit in and find that line and dig it. Because there is a huge amount of resources out there, and I believe the onus is on us to actually go out there and learn. A lot of us figure we've reached that point And the funny thing with technology, and this is why I also love technology, is it never stops changing. So what we learned 5, 10 years ago is no longer the same today. And so we have to challenge ourselves to continuously grow. And there are a lot of resources online. From the side, if you wanted to look at AI, you can go to a link like aischool.microsoft.com. If you want to look for free courses, you have courses on eGets, you have courses on the Khan Academy. There are a huge amount of resources. And we're also partnering with hubs like Swahili Code and other hubs in Africa to actually push these skills. So my challenge to you is just one word: learn, keep going. Thank you.
Over to you, Kitam.
Look, so on my part, I think you're never, there's a whole, because you have to learn, you have to grow, and I think you need to grow your careers. A lot of people are stuck on these formal structures. I think the next thing I would add is whatever it is you need to get done, just start doing it. I mean, I've known Noor is a good example. I mean, I've known Noor for a long time. He used to work at a partner. I think I was 19 when I actually started doing. When I tell people my experience in technology, they always get shocked. And for me, because to use my example, there's the whole learning aspect, but there's this networking. Take advantage of these events. Know people. Tell them what you want to do. Don't be shy. Just let it out there, and we'll carry you along. Personally, I think I'll try and come more often. I support for Heliport quite often, but I don't think I come often enough. I'll try and make an effort to come more often. We'll see what we can do going forward.
So, 3 things. Be bold, daring, and audacious. And this means doing the following. First and foremost, don't be shy. There are so many resources that have come to Mombasa this week. Approach us. Talk to us. There's no such a thing as a stupid question. It doesn't exist. Thankfully, and hopefully, there's going to be a bit more access to people from this county into the center here, Swahili Portland. I was very excited when we sat together with Governor Jobo. I requested him to ensure that 20 people per sub-county in this county get access to this innovation hub. That's 10 ladies and 10 men, and he accepted. But beyond that, you must be bold, daring, and audacious. Take your own path. Talk to us. He spoke about the internet. There are so many. You must know what to do online. If you don't know, like I say, talk to us. Ask us, and ask us, and ask us. We want you to succeed, because when you succeed, we succeed as a country and as a nation. So really, make use of us when we're here this week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. I encourage you guys to talk to these guys, especially you young folks, right? Whenever people like this who are industry experts and they've been there for a long time, they love to hear from you, they love to answer questions. So if you have questions about what you can do, what the task force is doing, these guys are available to you. And thank you very much for listening. Oh, we'll like to take questions from the audience.
So just raise your hand so I know I've seen one here. So 1, 2. Can I have one more? Let's have 3 questions so I can wrap it up.
I want a woman.
You want a woman?
Yes, to ask a question.
Oh, to ask a question. Finish the statement. So we have 2 guys, a lady the question. All right, thank you. So ladies first, let me be gender sensitive.
My name is Latifa Noor, not a daughter of Noor. So my question is, we are a group of 4 ladies, or maybe 3, and we are dealing with mental health. So interpreting mental health and technology into it. So our biggest challenge is funds. And we have tried to get funds from every place that we can get. But the reason is we don't actually know what or why are we not getting the funds. Because this, the problem is we want to make an application. It's there, we have made the prototype, we have done every single thing. But we can't, like, I'm a software developer, but I can't make the application because I do need expert and mentorship. So how can you help me in terms of technology and in mental health? Thank you.
Okay, I think I'll take that. So I'd say that's a classic challenge of every startup. At some point you build the product and you want to scale and you want to grow. So for funding, I'd say it's very contextual. It does depend on where you are as an organization. But one of the really powerful resources you can use are the incubators around you. Because most of these incubators generally have people who can help you look at things like go-to-market strategies and try and understand where is the gap. And the good thing is some of them even have in-house investors who can look at your solution and tell you, I'll invest in you, but this is what you need to fix, or this is where you need to improve. So it will take sitting down, looking at your solution, and having experts actually sit with you. And that's the power of places like Swahili Pot and other hubs. And I'd say use them because they are really, really powerful places where you can also meet other entrepreneurs and other software people to actually sit and challenge your solution. And that's a very good place to go. And once you get past that point, it's very easy to then know what the issue is or why you're hitting a wall when it comes to investment. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
And if I may just add on that, have you heard of white box? So I need you all to go, anybody who has an idea that wants to work around things, around the Big Four agenda, go to whitebox.go.ke. So that is an initiative by the Ministry of ICT. I was hoping that my good friend, Gital.
I can speak a little bit more about some of the initiatives. So there are 2 things that I think as Swahili Pot we need to figure out, because ideally these hubs are actually supposed to help you through these processes. They're supposed to aggregate the information. Ideally, in my books, there should be some sort of mentorship panel that helps startups. I mean, you're right. You have 2-3 developers. They don't know what to do with HR. They don't know what to do with finance. They don't know how to deal with it. Even after you get that money, you might not know. You might think you know what to do with it, but you might not. So ideally, the hubs are supposed to aggregate some of these resources for you, in my opinion. From a whiteboard perspective, we created this whiteboard ideally to also help you go through this process. For instance, how do you handle the copyright process? How do you protect your business? And who do you need to talk to? Should you be talking to government as a client? What do I need to do? So the white box is there as a resource to facilitate this. And what I will do after this is probably have a discussion to see how we can extend some of the physical facilities to Mombasa.
Right. We had a question on this side.
My name is Onyango. I'm an expert in network in Cisco, but with a big passion in cyber security from Kenyatta University. Now, my question is this, and every forum that I find, I like talking passionately about cyber security. Now, we are having the blockchain here, we are having AI, artificial intelligence. The former CEO of Cisco used to say that in this our world, we only have two organizations. Those who have been hacked and those who do not know that they've been hacked. Now, let me address my question now. What is the role of AI in cyber security? Yeah, because we have the likes of the zero-day attacks and the zero-hour attacks, which are those that bypass the file security and all that. And then on the ledger books, we still have issues of insecurity. We still have people that have bypassed some privileges in the blockchains, and they still manipulate a few things and they go away with it. So what do you have to say about that? Thanks.
I can take maybe one and then
first of all, in security general, you should be able to, I don't know how to put it, but bluntly speaking,
119,
if you are doing the right thing, you are very rich man, very few. Because the one thing that almost each and every sector, anyone touching a computer today is interested in cybersecurity. So the role of AI in cybersecurity, we are using it in several areas. Everything from basic anomaly detection to advanced malware detection, everything is using AI. So AI has a huge role to play in cybersecurity. And I could speak about this from the company, from the perspective of the company. I know Microsoft has, we have AI. Honestly, I think everything we are running today, from the network all the way to each and every tool, has a component of AI in it to handle this. From a general perspective, there are so many startups in cybersecurity, and I would urge you to also start considering doing. There's no one here at this hub working on cybersecurity solutions. I think you're missing a trick, because a lot of these solutions also have to be localized. You find that people are willing to pay a lot of money for security solutions. I'll let Microsoft explain a little bit more.
And he's actually mentioned most of what I wanted to touch on, which is, you're very right. In the modern world, a lot of the attacks we see are from really smart people building really good, good from a technical perspective, but really bad software. And from the AI perspective, one is a lot of the viruses we see, and we have statistics on this, because Microsoft gets attacked on a daily basis, by the way, by hackers. And so we see and log a lot of the attacks. And we see a lot more are heuristic viruses. So these are viruses that, of course, adapt and learn. We're seeing a lot more infiltrations by even states as governments. And so what we do as companies, and I don't just speak as Microsoft, and I know this is true for most of the large tech firms and tech companies, is we are slowly integrating AI into the back end. So you won't realize it's there. And small things like spam filters, because most of the organizations, in fact, I just had a really good story come to mind where a bank was hacked simply because an employee opened a malicious email, and nearly $1 billion disappeared overnight. And it's that serious. So we build AI into the back-end services, into the places you can't see. And as he's mentioned, cybersecurity is a huge area because of that, whereby you can now enable organizations to do that. As to your blockchain question, I think it comes down to the architecture of basically the platform you've built. So you'll find most of the chains that were either hacked was either a bug that was taken advantage of. In fact, I think that's the case for 90 to 99% of the times, is someone built something but didn't fix a small tiny area. And then one guy will sit down and work on how to access that. And that's why peer reviews, especially in software, are really, really powerful. Whereby you build something, yes, you've patented it, and yes, you've protected yourself by copyright, but also being able to go to other experts and asking them, hey, take a look at my work and hit it with all you've got. Let's see where the problem could be. And that's something we don't see often here in the region, and I'd actually encourage that. Whereby, take it to someone, tell a hacker, hey, hit my network, see if you can access. And there are actually guys who make a business of this, whereby it's penetration testing, which I'm pretty sure you're familiar with. And you can do the same for software. So I'd say that's the best way to approach it.
All right, we have one more question.
Hello, hi. My name is Gift Mazara, and my question was basically on the impact of AI and blockchain technology on land. Because coming from the coastal area, land is such a sensitive issue, and we'd like to know what you guys are doing to that respect. Thank you.
Okay, so without going into too much detail, because the task force that we work on has an owner, and the owner will be releasing his report, I want to satisfy you that we've looked at that in detail, and that's one of the major areas that we actually have made some very firm recommendations on what needs to happen and how that technology can be employed and used to basically take care of those big issues that you have spoken about, you've spoken over. I know that one of the challenges that we will have, and I say this with absolute due respect to the people on the legal side of things, is that these technologies are very disruptive in terms of the use of lawyers, within the contractual processes and everything else. And let us be honest, if you don't like ourselves, the reason why this technology is coming is because some of the biggest problems we've had with respect to the land is actually been also from professionals on all sides. And I just don't mean, when I say professionals, I mean from the surveyors to the lawyers to the land office and everybody else. So you will see what it is that we've basically said as a recommendation for this country. But in the meantime, if you do actually, Google, land and blockchain, you can see some things that are being done in other jurisdictions out of here. So that will give you, a really good foundation of some of the things that we will also be saying that are very prescriptive and very clear as to what should happen here locally.
Who wants to say something?
Maybe for those who are also concerned about what government is doing using blockchain technology, I will recommend them not to miss a panic tomorrow, where we will have the Estonian honorary consul, Dr. Kadri, because Estonia, to me and I think to a lot of people, are a true digital government. So mark your calendar, tomorrow's panel, where we'll be having the Deputy Shy Commission, the Estonian Honorary Council, and other experts as well. So.
Yes, and if I could just say, actually, for those of you who are in this room, sorry, I've just remembered, there's 3 people here who I think are only here today who you must take total advantage of. And these are 3 lawyers, one of the oldest law firms in this country. There's Dr. Wanjao, there is Gitao, Winnie, there's Nasra. It's important because I will tell you, you can't afford their fees. So when they're here, grab them. I'm being honest. So all those legal things that you have, that you're challenged with, please do approach them and do speak to them. The funny thing is that as a people, and I think as Kenyans, we want to see this country grow. So when you get an opportunity to have them here, do make use of them.
Thank you very much. Shall we give them a round of applause, please?